Our goal and the way that we've always done it was to find the best representation of that strain in the flower format and then send it to our terpene lab for basically a fingerprint and then recreate it at the same ratios using very pure terpene components every single time. Hi, my name is Casey. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer for the Bloom brand. So Bloom got started in a very small room not too far from here, actually. We saw an opportunity on the market to be able to create a consistent product. Back in 2014, most of the vapes were very different. So basically if you bought, let's say, a Blue Dream vape and you came back 2 weeks later to buy that same vape, you had a completely different experience, right? So we started basically figuring out the best way to produce a full terpene profile with all the components within that strain and do it scalably. And I think that's the purpose of Bloom, and that's what we've been able to achieve so far. So what we're looking for with these strains is to mimic the components in the strain itself at the same ratios. So for us, everything has to happen to spec, and we have very specific SOPs in terms of like the color and the viscosity and the potency of the oil, first and foremost. And then also the ratio of the terpenes relative to the oil is also something that we have SOPs for. Our terpene profiles themselves is something that we keep very close to our chest because that's really the secret with Bloom. But with the amount of components in it, like we're looking at probably anywhere from like 60 to 80 components per profile, whereas most people are using maybe 5 to 10 terpenes, right? So you get a very complex flavor. The last component of it is actually with the hardware. Dealing with China, dealing with Chinese manufacturers is an ongoing game that's always very difficult for us. Luckily, we've been able to partner with SMOORE, and SMOORE, I think the best thing about them is they have a lot of integrity in their processes, and that speaks to a lot with the consistency, right? Because the performance is always consistent, and they've done a great job at just building a business that's based off of how much integrity they have versus like how much they're able to save you on the back end. I think the great thing about working with CannaSafe is that you guys have strived to really be the leader in terms of setting the standards for the industry and be able to kind of say, hey, this is how things should be done. Once you're the leader, you really need to lead the industry in terms of the messaging and show what is the right way to actually lab test. And so I'm very glad to be a customer of CannaSafe. As far as next steps, we're always doing research and development. Our goal is to really produce products that match our brand, right? And everything for us is convenient, it's tasty, it's potent. So I think one of the next big steps we're gonna have is actually launching a pre-roll line. I think that'll be a big one. We also just completed a deal to work on drinks, playing around right now with different form factors to understand what's the best delivery mechanism for the drinks. And then outside of that, we're just looking to expand. Right now we're in 4 states. We're in California, New Mexico, Washington, and Nevada. We're just finishing up deals right now to be entering Oklahoma at the end of this year. And then next year we'll be in Canada and Massachusetts. So very, very excited about that expansion.